introduction. And so if you could just say your full name and like where you come into the family, like who the parents are. Okay. Want to start?
We're ready.
Well, I married into the Cosentino family, 1937. We're in New Brunswick, New Jersey. Angela Cosentino and Joseph Cosentino. Married Catherine, sister-in-law. Anything else?
How many years ago?
Now you're
57 years ago. Be 57
Joe
September 1st.
okay. Okay. Say your name.
Joseph Bonanno.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm Catherine Bonanno, and
You go by Kate.
yes,
Okay.
and my mother and father were Angela and Joseph Cosentino, and I was born and raised here in Ravenna, and we moved to New Jersey and I met him over there and married him in New Jersey, and we have 2 children, a boy and a girl.
What year were you married?
1937.
Let's see. Also, how about birthdays?
Actual birthday?
Yeah.
Mine is September 25th, 1919.
Okay.
July 22nd, 1917.
What are your children's names? Justin and Virginia are our children. You want to say any more about your children? That's it.
We have 4 grandchildren and 4 great-grandchildren.
Yeah, right.
Show me where.
That's, we're off to date on that.
Where are we? That's a genealogy chart that we have, and in order for me to, I need to know where we're at. Who we're. There's so many names that are over and over.
Right.
Okay. Go ahead.
I'm Josephine Maimon, married to Jim Maimon. I have a son, Jack Vaccaro, from my first husband. I was born here in Ravenna, October 13th, 1913, and married Anthony Vaccaro, moved to New Jersey.
Did you, the year, the date of that?
Let's see, I think it was in 33 or 34, I'm not sure of the date. I had a son, Jack, and we lived in Jersey about 20 years, I'm not just sure of the date. What do you want?
You're not on this list because the bloodline is between Grandma,
Well,
my grandmother.
well, she's my mother.
No.
No, Rose.
Rose, my grandmother.
Oh, yeah,
This
that's
is
right.
Bika Bruno.
Oh, well,
Well, what do
That's-
we have to do?
We're not involved.
No,
We're
that's-
just the Cosentinos.
But you're the key. Your mother's the key. Grandma's the key.
Oh, I see.
So you
Oh.
still, I mean,
play
you still
in the
come into
picture.
play. You're just not on this list, but you're still
I see.
important.
oh, I see.
We're just
Well,
connected.
anyhow, then I married Jim Maimon, and we've been married 42 years.
And the date of that?
Oh, God, dates and I just don't get along. Can you remember
1949, June 18th.
Yeah,
All
June,
right, good for you.
yeah, Flag Day, June 14th.
June 18th.
Flag Day.
Oh yeah, Flag Day. Okay.
We're going to have an argument right on this thing.
Please don't.
That's about all I
Did you give your birthday? I can't remember.
Yes, October 13th, 1913.
Okay.
And that's about it.
Okay. Tim?
Jim?
You didn't say anything about Dean and Sherry.
Oh, my grandchildren. Oh, well. Got 2 grandchildren, Dean and Sherry. Sherry's married to George Southwick. Dean is still single. Jack is married to Sheila Tanner from Toledo, and they live in Minneapolis. They've been there 30 years, I guess. Something like that. Not sure of the dates. That's it.
I'm Jim Maimon. My mother was a Bruno. she came across from Italy with my grandmother because she was delayed because she had something wrong with her eyes. But then she finally got over here, and they landed in New York. And my grandfather, John Bruno, came to Ravenna, and my dad followed later and came to Ravenna. They had been in Brooklyn, and they started a butcher shop in Brooklyn with my Uncle Frank, my dad's brother. And they got over here, and he married my mother in Brooklyn. And then they came here and lived in Ravenna. I was born on Riddle Avenue on November 22nd, 1913. I was married to Grace Naturale, whatever you want to call it, and lived with her 11 years. Got divorced in 48, married Josephine in 1949, June 14. I have two daughters, Linda and Frances. Linda has a son, Gary John Robinson, and Cheryl Ann Robinson, who is now a Crooks. She married a Bob Crook.
No. Glad you clarified that. Gary is.
Frances has 4 children, and I have 8 grandchildren, and just recently a great-granddaughter born to one of my granddaughters. Now, what else you want to know about those kids? We don't see very much of them.
That's probably okay as far as going
Lineage.
down goes. We're gonna go back now. So we're gonna put your minds back in the frame of Italy. And so have any of you heard any stories, any experience, any conditions of Italy?
What did your mother do in Italy? Do you?
All right, let me tell you about my mother. When she was 5 years old, her mother died. As I remembered, she had a sister in Italy. My grandfather, John Catalano, was her father. He in turn married Francisca, I can't think of her last name.
What was Uncle Bill's name in Staten Island?
Anyhow, he married.
Catalano.
McDonald?
There was a Catalano.
Was he Catalano, Joe? Uncle Bill from Staten Island?
Yes,
Yeah.
he was a sister. No,
No.
he wasn't a Catalano.
No.
That was Grandma Francisca's brother
I know.
that lived in Cat. We can't think of her name.
Trulio was their last name.
Julio, yeah.
Yeah.
That could be Julio.
Yeah.
We're not sure of that. That is our
That's-
step-grandmother.
Yeah.
Okay. Mama always went to the Campagna, that's the country, with Grandpa every morning because, I don't know whether I should say this, but she didn't get along very well with her step-grandmother. So Grandpa John would take her to the country when they went there to do their grapes, take care of their grapes or their vegetables, whatever they had in the fields in the Campagna, which is the country.
What approximate place was this?
It was about, they lived in San Donimba.
Sicily.
Sicily, yeah. And
And what approximation is that from Palermo?
Palermo's maybe 25 miles, something like that. From there.
Is it a small village or is it pretty
It's
good
a
size?
very small village, very small. And a few years ago, there was an earthquake there, and it was destroyed, and they rebuilt it. We probably could never find our great-grandmother's grandfather's house there, my grandfather's house, because it's all been destroyed. But anyhow, when she was 14, I believe she was 14 when they came to Brooklyn. In the meantime, step-grandmother had 2 children. Uncle Bill, Vito Catalano, and Josephine Catalano. And my mother was very close with her brothers, half-brother and sister.
What was the driving force? What made them leave Sicily?
Poverty. Everybody thought they heard that the streets were made of gold and they wanted to have some of it. So they came over and they lived in Brooklyn. And then my grandfather, how the business started, I don't know, but he imported oil, olive oil. What else?
Olives.
The olive oil is all I can remember. And they
That's
came.
in Brooklyn? He
Yes,
brought it
in
into
Brooklyn.
Brooklyn and distributed
He
it?
brought it in from Italy and sold it in Brooklyn. Then it came to Ravenna. The only thing I can think of,
So this was Catalano.
Catalana.
I wasn't aware that he ever came to Ravenna.
Oh, he
Oh,
came
yeah.
twice. They came to Ravenna and he started a little business here. And he brought in the oil for the different Italian people here in Ravenna. Then Grandma decided she wanted to go back. So she went back to Brooklyn. And then as I remember, they came back again. And they lived on Highland Avenue. In the meantime, my mother didn't go back with them. They stayed here in Ravenna. She worked at the woolen mills. And she met my dad, who was boarding with the people that she was living with. Now, that's not right. I can't get that straight in my mind. I think that Grandma and Grandpa lived on Highland down on the corner of Highland and 2nd Street, is it? Where
Romano,
Romano's live, yeah.
What's that street?
4th Street.
4th Street, is it 4th? The street that goes down around.
Yeah.
Well,
the
one
second.
is 2nd, I don't know what the little alley this way is.
Yeah, well,
But
we'll call
4th
it
Street
2nd
runs right across.
Well, anyhow, she had boarders, Grandma did. Because there were a lot of single men around, or men who had left their families either in New York or in Europe. And she had this big boarding house, so to speak. And Grandpa, my dad, boarded there, and he fell in love with my mother, who worked at the woolen mills. And they got married. And they were married by Father Gardner, I think. Can't remember.
Okay, let's go back a ways.
All right.
Let's go back to when your mother and her father first came over with your step-grandmother,
Yeah,
or her
they all,
stepmother.
yeah, they all came.
So they all came over at one time.
Yes, they did.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have any indication of what boat they came in on?
I have no idea. You
Okay.
might be able to tell by the
Passport.
passport they
It
had.
should be on the passport,
Yeah.
I would imagine.
Is there, I take it that they arrived in New York, went through Ellis Island, were
Yes.
processed through there.
Yes.
Was there anybody sponsoring them to come to the United
No.
States? Was there anybody here to meet them when they got here?
Nope.
So they just kind of came in cold turkey with nobody.
Yeah, but they met people on the boat, and they all went all went to the same place. They went
I
to
take
Brooklyn.
it that they had some money before they
Oh,
came
yes.
over, a stash of money that they could start a business with. Now, I take it that that's kind of exceptional because most of the people coming over didn't have a whole lot of money to bring over with them.
No, they didn't.
Okay.
But anyhow, what slips my mind is how they got to Ravenna. But they were the first ones of a lot of people. They were in Ravenna right now,
So they went between New York and Ravenna
twice.
at least twice that we know
Yes.
of. Okay.
The first time when he had, Grandma and Grandpa had the boarders, they lived on the corner of Highland and 2nd Avenue, 2nd Street or whatever it is. The second time they lived on Highland Avenue, but right behind Keck's store. They lived
So,
there.
my understanding is there's still kind of a missing piece in the puzzle as to why the Catalano family came to Ravenna in the first place.
I wish I could remember that. It may come to me.
Okay. So they were familiar with the area
Oh, yes.
before they went back to New York.
Oh, yes. Oh,
Because
yes.
at this time,
Yes.
the three sisters were living in New York approximately around this time. So they were familiar, the Catalanos were familiar with the Ravenna, Portage County area,
Yeah.
which might have had some influence on maybe them leaving at one time.
Yes, because they knew my grandparents.
Okay. Now, let's get to your father. Now, I understand he came through South America.
Yes,
He left from
Sao Paulo.
San Paulo. No, from Italy. Where did he leave in Italy?
He lived in Calabria.
Calabria. Okay.
Not Catania.
No, Calabria.
Calabria, but
Right in Italy. That's in Italy.
yeah, that's in the boot. Yeah, I'm just trying to think of the name. I'll have to look at a map. I'll recognize it if I.
So it's a small village near there? Or?
Yeah, in the mountains. Yeah.
Okay.
hmm
So
And
he went directly from Italy to South America, San Paulo area.
yes, he
Okay.
worked. Grandpa, most of the people were migrating to South America. South America.
Okay, a big
was huge.
migration of Italians
Yeah.
did go to South
Yes,
America.
yes.
So he
And
worked
He worked in a, yeah. Grandpa,
in South America. He worked in
a coffee plantation.
coffee plantation.
And my father came over with 4 sisters. And his mother.
To South America.
To South America.
Okay, so there,
And-
so supposedly there's still 4 daughters
Yeah.
around.
Yeah, as far as we know.
Okay.
We kind of lost track of them.
So he was in South America for how long?
17 years. He came to the United States when he was 17 years old. Yeah, 17 years old. And he went to Pittsburgh.
Okay, let's
Why
back
he
up for
went
a
to...
second.
Okay.
Okay. He came from Italy to South America when he was how old?
2 years old.
2 years old. So he went to South America with his parents?
Mm-hmm.
His parents went to South America? So the whole family migrated to South
Yes.
America?
I didn't know that.
The
They worked in the coffee.
immigration, they did this because
I didn't know that.
the immigration laws were tough.
Mm-hmm.
There wasn't enough people getting in, and they were restricting them.
Mm-hmm.
So they would go to South America or Canada and then come into this
No,
country.
I don't think that was the reason he went. They went because they were so poor. Now,
Well, I thought
my
he was under the
great-grandfather was
immigration
a
laws.
priest. And before he was ordained, he met my grandmother, whose name was Rose. Her name was Rose. Anyhow,
Okay, so they're all in South America. They're living in the San Paulo area.
yeah,
Okay.
working in a big
And your
coffee
father
company.
turned 17 and decides that he's going to America.
They went back.
They went back to Italy.
They went back to Italy, and then the sisters who were married stayed in Sao Paulo.
So we have relatives in South America.
Yes, we do. And my
So, okay, so they went back to San Paulo,
dad,
they went back to Italy.
Yeah,
He's still in San Paulo. At the age of 17, he decides that he's coming. When they left for Italy, he decided to come to the United States? Okay, so the family separated
yes.
there
Uh-huh.
at that time when he was 17.
He came to America, and he landed in Pittsburgh.
How did he get to America?
I don't know.
So he had to come down in through Florida somewhere, or Mexico or something, coming up in through there, correct?
I don't know.
You never talked to them.
Never, no, you never got anything out of my dad. My dad was very happy to be an American, as far as he was concerned. And, you know, one time, of course, this is, I just do not say this, but anyhow, He came to Pittsburgh, or in the area, and they heard that they were building railroads around here. So he came up with a buddy of his that he met somewhere, and they came to Ravenna to work on the railroad. And he did. He worked on the Erie Railroad when he came to Ravenna.
So we could assume the most logical route for him to take would be to leave from Sao Paulo by boat going into Florida somewhere. That would be the most logical place, because going up through
No,
the...
not necessarily. He could have gone to New York and taken
Yeah.
a train to Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
I have no idea how he came.
Now, I had heard from somewhere that he worked himself up from Florida by train.
Never heard of it. Who told you that?
I could have swore it was one of you two.
No.
Okay.
Who would know
He
that?
never spoke of his
No. Dad was
days
very...
in South America when he came
very-
here.
Okay. All right, so he's in Pittsburgh, and
Yes.
he finds or he hears that there is
Yes.
work in the Ravenna area, Akron area, or
Yeah,
something like
Ravenna.
that.
Straight to Ravenna.
And I take it that at that time Ravenna was building railroads?
Yeah, yes, they were, because they're the old New York Central, the old Pennsylvania Railroad, the B&O, Baltimore and Ohio Railroad, all in this area.
He worked in
It
the
was a
Erie Railroad.
transportation hub.
Yeah, it was a hub.
So Ravenna was a pretty big hub for railroad.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Bigger than, say, Akron?
Oh, yeah, because they
Well, at
all
that
come
time.
to it. Yeah.
Okay, at that time.
At that time, yeah.
Why was it such attraction in Ravenna being a hub?
Well, because they crossed. If you remember right here in Ravenna, the Pennsylvania Railroad goes over top the B&O Railroad. And the Erie Railroad and New York Central Railroad went through the northern part.
So it was just a crossing point, just the
Yeah.
the physical location of the
Yeah.
city.
That's it.
My
that's it.
people started with my grandfather, landed on the B&O Railroad. They all worked there.
It was all railroad.
So he worked on the railroad for a while.
Oh, yeah, for quite a while. He married Mama. You
So
know,
he was
tell
working
him-
on the railroad when he met your mother.
Oh, yeah. Well, he was living right in the same house.
Right, but he was working on the railroad.
Yes,
While he was
yes,
doing it.
strictly railroad.
Okay. So
And,
he met your mother,
She worked in the woolen mills. The woolen mills is a big
and I
place
take it
in
that they
Ravenna.
were in full production at that time.
Yeah, oh, yeah, big stuff.
Okay.
And,
What was her job there?
I don't know, spinning, I guess. I know nothing about the woolen mills. I have no idea what they did there, other than they always said they were spinning wheels or
Apparently they
spinning-
spun the cloth at the Oak Rubber plant, where the Oak Rubber plant
Not
is.
that, no,
And then
no.
They used to wind
No,
the
no.
wool on spools.
Spools.
Spools,
And then
yeah,
they take it
yeah.
up to the dye
Yeah.
house.
the dye house, and that's where it was woven.
Yeah.
Okay.
But she worked there, and they got married, and eventually they bought the little house that we live in. We were all born there at 854 West
Okay.
That
Avenue.
was moved.
Was it moved?
Yes, that was on Washington Street. It was a schoolhouse.
Is
Don't
it
you
so?
remember?
I know it was a schoolhouse, but I
Yes.
thought it was
And
there.
they moved it from Washington Street to Highland Avenue.
Where the hell's Washington Street?
The
Down near
street that
me.
goes straight up to Freedom, past the car wash on Washington. It goes straight up to
Oh,
Freedom
yeah,
where
I
the school
know.
is.
You know, I know.
Yeah, that
Well, I
house
didn't know
was
that.
moved.
Okay, so they, after they got married, they settled down in Ravenna, never moved. Correct?
No.
Okay.
Well,
Oh,
yeah.
I mean, never really left Ravenna.
yeah, they were
Till I was
after
12.
we got married. After I got married, they
Yeah.
came to New Jersey.
Okay, so they lived in New Jersey for a while.
When I was 12 years old, then we moved to New Jersey. That
Mm-hmm.
was just, well, there were 3 children, my sister Mary, Johnny, and me.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And we moved to New Jersey.
All right. Well, see if you can throw something in. I've got some other stuff to do.
Do you want to keep
Go
going
go
with
ahead,
that?
see if there's anything that I missed.
Okay, we didn't cover much on Ellis Island and that experience. And
Can't get
nobody
that from
knows.
us.
Okay, what
Nobody
do
knows,
you
okay.
do you remember anything about your mother and father saying anything about Ellis Island or?
Wait till Ann comes. I bet she remembers.
The only thing I remember, they had tough physicals. If there was
Oh, yeah.
anything wrong with them, they sent them back to Italy.
Oh, yeah.
They would send them back on the same ship or?
Well, they would herd them all together and send them back. And they changed everybody's name.
At Ellis Island.
They shortened them.
They did.
You know, well, the people coming in. That's why they got the Browns and the.
I didn't know that.
Our name we used to be B-U-O-N, Wano, Ano, A-N-N-O.
Bono.
They took the U out of it.
Bono Ano.
Yeah,
Good you.
they changed all the names. They were too long. The clerks would.
Well, they didn't know how to spell them.
Yeah.
And the people that had them didn't know how to
Yeah,
spell
so
them.
consequently,
either.
a lot of people
Yeah.
don't have the same names they had originally when they got here.
Yeah, that's true.
Now, was anybody quarantined or were they detained at Ellis Island at all? Do you know?
Yeah, as I say, if they were sick, they held them back.
Ours were.
They've seen it.
His mother was held up.
Yeah, we're going to get into that. That's a neat story there.
What things would keep them back? You mentioned an eye problem here. Was it any, like what if they had a
Well,
cold?
if they
or-
found
No,
something
if they had-
different, if
if
they were
they-
sick or they were,
Chest
So-
pain, any sores on them, you know,
that
like
they didn't know
eczema or
about.
something like that.
Really?
Yeah, and whatever they could see and whatever they could detect from, you had to have an examination.
Okay, so you were processed through Ellis Island. What was the process through Ellis Island? You had to show a passport, correct?
Well, you didn't get in Ellis Island unless you had a passport.
Right. Okay. Well,